This is called discovering your unique talents, skills, gifts, and abilities. If you want to see yourself happy, youthful, reinvigorated, fall in love with your 5-year-old self again. There was something that we were born with, that God gave us, that made us unique. There are no two snowflakes alike. There are no two raindrops alike. There are no two blades of grass alike. When you cut open the trees and they start doing all of the scientific study of the rings within the trees, they find that there's always differences. And this has been going on for millions and millions of years. So you have billions and billions and billions of people who may have similarities. My son looks like me, but he ain't me. He's got different, unique talent, skills, and gifts. He may sound a little bit like me, but he don't sound exactly like me. My daughter, she has characteristics or traits like me, but then she has her own unique gifting that I don't have, right? So that's why it's her unique gift, right? So she can sit up and she's very creative and she writes and all these things. Then she comes and she's asking me, and then I got to sit there like I'm really understanding what she's talking about. And I'm like, girl, you're a genius, because I don't know what you're talking about, but it'll work. I know it'll work. Go ahead and do it. But that's her gift. And my job is to make sure that I encourage her unique gift, right? Her unique talent, her unique skill. So going back to the 5-year-old self, that's critical. Now, here's where a lot of us, I believe, struggle with that, is because we've been traumatized since then, right? We were born with these natural skills, gifts, and talents. We were already, at whatever, 4 or 5, thinking of things to do. At 6 years old, we had these imaginations of what we wanted to do. And there was just some things that just came easy to us. And here's how you begin to know. You would always hear things like saying, there's something different about you. Or you're smart this way, or you do this, or you're talented this way, or and it could be physical gifts. You run fast, you jump high, whatever it is. But then once we get into the educational system, that's when it starts destroying that natural gift. There's actually a YouTube video, and actually my dear friend Simon T. Bailey, you probably want to listen to, he did a YouTube video. I think his speech is on Gold Coast, where he talks about this. I interviewed him. I'm trying to remember, did he talk about this when I interviewed him? Because you can go to the Conversations with Black Millionaires in here, go to Simon T. Bailey. Excellent interview. I think that was one of your favorites, wasn't it, Margot? That was one of your favorites, because I remember you talking about him several times. Real beautifully gifted brother with his delivery, long history, and working with Disney and all of that type of stuff. Again, multi-millionaire, doing all of this type of stuff. But he has a Gold Coast video that somebody else did, a TED Talk video as well, about the studies that were conducted in America. And it was a business study. And they begin to find out the patterns and human behaviors of people, from a consumer standpoint. But then they also started taking this study and studying children. And here's the unique thing that they found, is that all children exhibit genius up to the age of 5. I want you to think about that. So that includes you and me. At some point, we were exhibiting absolute genius up until somebody said we got to go to kindergarten. And then the first thing that they do is start slowing us down. See, spot, run, or whatever, the spot on the dog. You remember all those stories, which are good in terms of basic rudimentary learning, right? We should know the basics: reading, writing, arithmetic. But the pace at which they start taking us through the educational system, it started dumbing us down from our natural gifts and talents. And then the trauma begins on top of that. So now we either have parents who don't understand this, who say, well, you shouldn't be doing that. Girl, you'll never make it in the singing industry, right? You'll never make it in the dancing industry. You can't do that. You can't read. And and it keeps going on and on and on. Then we get into the workplace, or we go to college, or something happens to us where all of this trauma is layered on in between us just surviving in America and then what we were born to do. It's a matter of fact, we don't even think about it until almost we, about to kick the can, we're about to get out of it. And you know what? Wow, well, what was I born to do? What am I here for? Wait till I'm 89 years old and say, God, what am I here for? Why you wait to 89 to ask the question? Why you wait to 90 to ask the question? Hey, Kim Yan, the diamond is in the house. She said hello to everyone. But that's the reality of what has happened in America. And so all of the ones that I'm studying, the successful, I'm a part of another group. Again, I told you, it's nothing but rich white Republicans. Can't stand it. Hearing all of their views and all of that type of stuff. But one thing they get straight is their business. And they don't pay any attention to anything else. They study this. So of course I'm listening to them, and they're attributing this thought to Greek, right? To the Greeks. Know thyself. It's a Greek proverb. I was like, man, if y'all don't stop. And I want to just say something at times, like, y'all need to read the book by George M. James called Stolen Legacy, of how the Greeks stole all of the Egyptian knowledge, the Egyptian mystery series, and how the School of Alexandria was, that was one of Napoleon's conquests, right? They destroyed the libraries in Egypt. But anyway, the point is that saying is above the entrance of all of the learning centers in the pyramids. Know thyself. It's right there on all of the hieroglyphics. It's know thyself. So it's not something that's Greek. It comes from us. If you ever watch Roots, I pointed this out to my children. They said, there's the birthing process with Kunta Kinte when he was first born. Behold, hold the child up. Behold, the only thing greater than yourself, pointing out to the universe. And then this is something that has happened. So obviously I don't think I did that with any of my children. I should have. Took them out, back in Detroit, look around, make sure it was clear out there, and then behold, look at these stars, look at the moon, look at the universe. There's nothing greater than yourself. We don't do that. And so that uniqueness of us doesn't come back to us until somebody reminds us. I think Jill Scott had a song said, do you remember? We have to be reminded that we were born with these qualities, with these talents. But even more so, this is what we should be building our businesses, our careers around. What is it that makes you unique? What are the gifts that you have, the talents that you have, that there is no comparison, right? In fact, what you do when you get into this line of thinking, you start looking for the uniqueness in everybody else. And so it makes for better relationships. So I don't be looking at Cheryl like, listen to Cheryl, she don't know about no sales. I don't do that. I'm like, man, listen to Cheryl. Look, Lynette know all of this technology stuff. I don't have a clue. But you do, right? Y'all don't even know that Kim Yan can sing. Kim Yan can sing. And we need to put some of your old pictures up in here. And I was like, who was that? Some of your entertainment pictures, but that's a part of her gifting. And when she and I had a conversation, I said, that's what you have to, that brings you joy. If you think about this, something that you all do naturally, that you just light up, that is easy to you. That's why we really overlook the unique talent, skill, gift, because it comes so easy to us. It's almost effortlessly that we get things accomplished that we don't focus on it. I'm gonna open up for everybody, Kim Yan, in just 1 second, okay?
Yeah, I want to not forget that, because
so right, if you got any questions, and I did say before you got on, I'm going to answer questions. I'm going to hit this stuff real quick, and any questions that you have, so go ahead and write your questions down, and we'll dive into this. And then we'll take a break after that, and then we'll come back and do the mastermind and hot seats, all right? But I just wanted to kind of, I'm gonna give you a couple of resources, but I just kind of wanted to make this point and how valuable it is for us to think about And here's when you start talking about reinventing yourself, when you start talking about a new way of doing things, a new life, a breath of fresh air. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because again, here it is. I don't think anybody on here, I think, nobody's on here is 20, 25 years old. I don't think so. So I'm in a safe zone that I can say all of us, we're not so young that, we're naive to things that we've done before. And then we're not so young that we don't know that we've been hardened by a lot of the practices and business practices that we've had to partake of. And so the last thing that we're thinking about, if we're thinking about food on the table, clothes out to cleaners, car notes, all of these different things, house note, the last thing we're thinking about is cultivating my uniqueness so that I can stand out, so that I can be happy, so that I can bring more value to the world. Because in truth, that's where your value creation is going to reside. When you start talking about, and I want everybody on here to really become obsessed with value creation. What I was talking about, with what we're trying to put in here, that's all that's about. That's all value creation. How do we create value that attracts the right type of audience or the right type of people to us? But here's the thing that really just automatically makes you more valuable. It's your uniqueness. That's the differentiator. If you want to differentiate yourself from anybody else in your particular niche, category, or industry, tap into your uniqueness and your delivery of your uniqueness. Now, here's the thing. On this journey, you have to be able to put in words your uniqueness, right? What you do, your talents, your skills, your gifts. And again, this is not easy. And that's why this is going to be a month-long study. I'm introducing it today, but I'm going to be introducing you to different exercises, resources, examples that you can use to begin to discover your unique gifts, your unique talents, your unique ability, and then how to describe it, how to package it, and how to put it in the marketplace. So I think, let me look, keep an eye on the time. I got a few notes here. And let me just read this real quick, because there's just a couple things I wanted to read. I'm not going to read all of this. I got notes. And like I said, all of this stuff will be coming in. I'm not going to read all of this stuff, but there's just a couple things I wanted to highlight, make sure that it's on video here, because it is your unique talent, skills, and gifts and your abilities. That's going to be you at your best. That's going to be you at your best. You got to remember that in this society, as I was beginning to talk about, when we become, get into school, 5, 6, 7 years old, and we go throughout that process, we're beginning to learn habits and behaviors. And one of the habits and behaviors from the school system is there is no collaboration. There is no sharing and coming up with answers and solutions. Everybody's isolated, and you take your test on your own. You have to learn something, and it's either pass or fail. It's not saying, hey, Cheryl, can we talk about this? What is the best way to do it? It's like, no, Cheryl got to take her test. I got to take my test. And then we see who failed. The challenge with that is that based upon that grading system, and it's a lot of challenges with that, but just to highlight this one challenge, based upon that grading system, it forces us to start focusing on our weaknesses. In order for you to get better, Margot, you need to work on that, because you can't do that too good. So work on that. So you're geared now. So now you're told to leave your gift, leave your strength, and then you start focusing on a weakness. Now you may improve on the weakness, right? You may improve on the weakness, but all you got now is a strong weakness and not a superior strength. So you improve in whatever they say to do. For instance, let me just use an example here just to make sure it's cool. Margot, you need to learn sales. You need to learn sales. And then now you go and you start learning sales, and you get pretty good at sales. But your sales capabilities will not equal Cheryl's sales capabilities. See what I mean? And we got to be able to recognize that and say, oh, wow, that's not my strength. But Margot's voice, Margot's interviewing skills, the way that she's getting better, and see how she's getting better and better at that, and she enjoys that. And right now there is no competition, right? It's everybody begins to fall to the wayside. And if there are other people in the marketplace, people don't say, well, Margot is better. They just say, I like to work with Margot, or I like to listen to Margot. It's a preference then because of Margot's talent, skills, and gifts. And so the school system has us focusing on weakness. The same is true when I was thinking about you, Lynette. I mean, we're talking about business, and we're almost forcing you to go into areas that you like, damn, I don't want to go in those areas, right? Those are not strengths of yours. They're not passions of yours. They're not, in fact, they're dislikes of yours. How can you be successful doing something you hate or you dislike, right? So we got to learn to focus on the strengths and be okay with the weakness. But here's where the other skill set comes in, the skill set that I want us, that we really have to start thinking about and developing. How do I find others that's their gift? And I either employ them, partner with them, or collaborate with them, or maybe they can be an apprentice, an understudy, right? These are the different things that we have to think about. If someone else is gifted in an area, they're talented in an area. One of the jobs of being a true entrepreneur, really just a human being, is that, and that's why I started off talking about my daughter, we want to recognize the uniqueness of everyone else and then implore them to go into their strengths and to develop those strengths and become the best at that. And then you can utilize those strengths in collaboration or in partnerships. So when you're using your unique talent, skills, and gifts, you are at your best. It's the hardwired set of natural talents that you're passionate about making use of in every area of your life. See, there are things that we're just hardwired to do, that we're gifted at, that you can do. You'll wake up and you can do it, and it's just your natural, God-given talent, and you can shine. You can flourish, you can advance, you can leapfrog competition. If we want to keep using, I hate using the term competition, but for business purposes, I'll use it. If there's other people in your marketplace and now think about this, look at the advantage you have, because everybody that we know primarily is focusing on weaknesses, doing stuff they don't like, sitting behind computers, trying to learn how to do funnels, all of that type of stuff. Instead of just calling Nietzsche, instead of just calling Nietzsche, who loves this, right? They rather, I'm gonna do it myself. And then they're wondering why it takes longer, why it's harder. And then even when you learn it, going back to the point I made with Margot, even when you learn it, it's not an advantage for you, because now you're competing with people where that's their going back to this hard, that's their natural strength. And so you're competing with someone who's already superior in an area, and you've learned it, you've improved your weakness, but now you're trying to compete with them and it's not working. But if you were focusing on your strengths and put yourself in a position to say, hey, you know what? I like what you do. How can we collaborate? So now these two strengths come together and it produces bigger and better strengths. It produces riches and all of this good stuff that we talk about.